Hey, what's up, everybody? Ezza here of Ezza Trips Balls with my boy Percy here. Me being camera shy. I just wanted to give a real thanks to you, everybody who checked out episodes 1 and 2 on YouTube, on Buzzsprout, Spotify, wherever. I just wanted to make an announcement. We are now on Apple Podcasts as well. Search for Ezra Trips Balls, episodes 1, 2, and 3. Brought to you, of course, by Milky Studios, Milkfish Podcast. Holler at him.
About to take a plane to another plane, to another plane, to another plane, bumping Baka not nice while I'm trapping in the rain.
Hello and welcome to the third episode of Ezra Trips Balls.
And we are.
AKA the, a little bit. AKA the try not to talk about the coronavirus for 2 hours podcast.
Try.
And we're broadcasting from the plot of Osmosis Jones over here. Not a good start.
No.
Today I have with me my good friend, my brother from another mother, the co-founder of the music conglomerate of which I am proudly a part, Mr. Thili.
Hello.
How's it going? Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me. It's been a long time since we did a podcast
I know.
together.
Thili first introduced me to the concept of a podcast.
Yeah, Ricky.
With the Ricky Gervais show.
Yeah, that was way back.
Years ago, before podcasts were a big thing. And then we tried to make one. Well, we did make one.
Yeah.
We just didn't actually
we
put
did
it out.
5 episodes, I think.
Yeah, it was called A Liberal, a Terrorist, and a Liberal Terrorist. It had myself...
Canceled.
A liberal. Yeah. Our friend Sanad was a terrorist, and Thili was a liberal terrorist. Immediately canceled if we tried to do it again. I was thinking about it, and it's the word liberal almost has more negative connotations than the word terrorist these days.
A little bit, depending on which.
I may be more attacked. Depends. Both will be.
Yeah, well, no matter what you are, you're going to be attacked in this world.
Yeah, you're going to be attacked whether you're a liberal, a terrorist, or a liberal terrorist.
Yes, exactly. Which is all the reason why it needs to come back.
Yeah. Liberal terrorist also has a whole other meaning to it. I don't think you could be a liberal terrorist anymore.
I could not be. That would be like, what, Antifa?
Yeah, and yeah.
Or I guess when this comes out, redacted.
Yeah, I was going to say Black Lives Matter. But
no.
Not the sentiment, but the movement.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
is considered by some right-wing folk to be liberal terrorism.
Yeah, it's once again, anything you do if you're on either side is
terrorism.
Yeah, exactly. Because words have lost their meanings.
Yeah, because I was just gonna say, like, the word, just the idea of liberal terrorist is just hilarious.
It's clearly farce. Like it's clearly parody.
And that was part of the whole idea of our original podcast: a liberal, a terrorist, and a liberal terrorist. However, today it just wouldn't be allowed, and nor would our good friend be a part of it.
No, he would. We joked about it earlier. He'd have to be like a old mobster on 60 Minutes when they did their interviews, completely blacked out with a voice changer on. If our friend was gonna come back to it,
yeah. People who knew him would still definitely be able to tell.
100% just by his words.
Yeah.
He talked very uniquely. That's to say the least.
Absolutely, he did. Yeah. So you are also the co-host of another podcast.
Yeah, for a while, I was the co-host every week of the Tyrell Effect with the Block. Now, me and him do our own separate podcast from the podcast we started within that podcast.
It's an inception of podcasts.
Yeah, exactly, which is called Tough Talks with Thili and Dablock. We do it usually every Monday, sometimes Sunday, sometimes Thursday, because as a shift worker, schedules move around and stuff like that. You have different days off every week. So, I get out there when I can. Sometimes we do it over the phone. But yeah, that's a wrestling, UFC, Bellator, all MMA, and boxing, and mostly WWE and Ring of Honor, New Japan, stuff like that. But yeah, I've been a mark, as we call fans in the wrestling business, since I was like 5 years old, probably 4 or 5 years old, when I saw Macho Man Randy Savage for the first time. And like, how can you not fall in love if that's the first thing you see? If, you know, just as a guy, everybody knows who Macho Man Randy Savage is. Of
course.
If you ever just saw a Slim Jim commercial, you know who fucking Macho Man Randy Savage is.
Yes,
So
of course.
like, yeah, that's, I mean, I've been since way back then, and so getting to talk about it now every week with like more people and stuff like that is really cool.
Is everything,
Yeah.
you're not going to have anything to talk about right now, though, are you? Everything's shut down at the moment.
No, WWE is the only game in town for live sports entertainment.
Is that so? Block told me that WrestleMania was canceled.
Not canceled. It was, it has been switched out. It is no longer in Tampa Bay, Florida, at the stadium where they were going to do it. It is now going to be at the WWE Performance Center in Orlando,
There's
Florida.
a WWE Performance Center.
Yeah, that's where they train. Like, that's where all the athletes go and train and stuff like that on their time off. They've got amazing like medical facilities there. They've got state-of-the-art gyms and 7 full-size WWE rings. Officials go there to train for like the counts and like rules and like freshers and stuff like that. They'll practice matches before they bring them out to the public there and stuff like that. They've got legends of the business there training the youth of today. Like Triple H runs it from back in the day. Okay. Shawn Michaels runs the UK version of the Performance Center. They have 3 Performance Centers. They've got US, UK, and Japan.
Do they have? So do they have the?
And India.
Do they
Sorry,
have
4.
Oh wow! Do they have the India?
Yeah. Yeah, they're
WWE,
working into that market.
Is it big over there? Or they're just
Yeah, it's big everywhere, man. It is a worldwide thing. Like they do 2 pay-per-views a year in Saudi Arabia.
That's wild. So do they have at the performance centers that they're going to be using in light of the current crisis? Is it going to be with audiences?
No audience.
No
so,
audience. So it's going to be a movie, basically.
It's really interesting. The Performance Center, because it is such a training facility, is set up completely for for camera broadcast setup and everything, because they want wrestlers to be able to train for where the hard cam is, things like that. And because of that, they're really easily able to broadcast whatever they want out to the world from there. So starting last week, Monday night was the last Raw in front of a crowd for a while, in an audience, in an arena. On Wednesday, they did NXT from the Performance Center for the first time to test out the broadcast thing. They had an audience for that because it hadn't been shut down for crowds yet. It had just been like super large crowds. By Friday, the ban was on gatherings of more than 100 people in Florida. So they did SmackDown for the first time with no audience whatsoever. Just the commentary team, the cameramen, and the wrestlers in the matches and segments. And it was impressively good. Like, it was probably the best episode of the year.
The the silver lining to all of this madness, to all of this coronavirus, COVID-19,
whatever you want to call it.
Apparently, we're getting the best wrestling content.
Yeah, exactly.
In
Exactly.
years.
Yeah. I mean, and then they did again on Raw. They did the same thing this week. No crowd in the Performance Center.
Well, they could focus more on the production of it rather than doing it for the audience that's there. Right?
Yeah. Well, and it's very interesting that because you can hear the wrestlers talking more, like not talking, and they're very good at not giving away what they're calling and stuff like that. But they do. You can hear every hit more and stuff like that, so it's really interesting.
That's kind of
They
cool.
also did UFC last week, the Brasilia card, which I know you follow UFC more than you'd follow wrestling, but they did that Brasilia card, Kevin Lee versus Charles Oliveira, and that was in front of an empty arena in Brazil. There's nobody in the audience, and it was really interesting. The strange part was they tied the record for most consecutive decisions on a UFC card ever. 9 straight decisions, and then 2 first round finishes, and then a second round finish.
It makes me wish that other sports were trying to do it with no audiences,
Yeah.
just to see how much it has to affect things a lot, right?
The problem with that is the limit in a lot of places being groups of 10 or more.
You can't even have the players.
You can't even have a full team.
Yeah. So you'd have to do individual sports like
UFC,
MMA,
boxing. But even UFC now has had to postpone the next 3 events. But thankfully, UFC 249, which is Tony Ferguson versus Khabib Nurmagomedov for the...
It's going to be nuts.
Yeah, that's going to be fight of the year. Is potentially going to be... is still happening for sure on that date. Dana has said that. But what he hasn't said is where. We should be finding out this week. It looks like it's going to be Dubai.
Whew.
Yeah.
Are they having issues over there?
I don't know. I don't think they are in Dubai. I don't think there's any sort of lockdown there, but
no.
potential. I don't care as long as it happens.
What do you...
I just need that fight in my life. I need Tony to beat Khabib already. Like, it should have happened years ago.
You think Tony's going to beat Khabib?
Yes.
Wow, that's interesting. I don't know enough.
He can
to
darce a
dispute that, but
motherfucker from anywhere.
I am terrified of Khabib.
So am I, and that's why I need someone to beat him. I need to know that he's not a T1000. This fucking Russian T1000 is scary.
He's beyond a T1000.
Yeah.
Jesus.
It's nuts. He's nuts. He's absolutely nuts.
He's
But
very
I also
scary.
I hate his style overall. Overall, I find him mostly boring. He's actually gotten better, like more entertaining over the last few fights. But I do feel like his whole game is crotch hugging. Like he dives on,
gives
you, grabs
people
your
no
legs,
room to
wraps
breathe or
both
move.
of your
and
legs
that's
up
it.
in his.
He's like a big cousin. You know what I'm saying? He's like a bully big cousin.
Yeah. 100%.
That's like watching him
100%.
fight. It's like watching somebody bully their little cousin.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, dude, he looks like he's gonna like spit in their mouth or something. Like,
Yeah.
it's just like submissions and just holding them down and keeping their limbs and
This
like
is number
you know what
one
I mean?
bullshit.
Yeah.
I'm not bully.
So what's your outside of how it's affecting the sports world? How is what's your feelings on the pandemic? Yeah, though I did say we're going to try not to talk about it for the full. I like to start off with it.
Yeah, get it out of the way.
Get it out of the way, you know.
Yeah. I mean it sucks. I think that it's gonna go back to normal. I don't think it's gonna be this like crazy months and months long process that the
Say July,
that people
August.
are buying into like and supplying up for, which fucking goddamn it, you guys stop that
Selfish.
shit. Selfish and just a waste of money. But yeah, I think it's awful. I think it's bad that there's been so many deaths worldwide from it already. It sucks that it's affecting our lives. I've been saying to people, like, who the fuck, when we first heard the stupid name coronavirus earlier, like, you know, a month or so ago, that it would affect everything.
Yeah,
like
it's kind of wild. It's kind of wild.
Everything. Sports, entertainment, like movies and TV shows are in production right now, are all on hiatus until this is over. So release
movies
dates
that
get
are already
delayed.
ready to go are getting pushed
delayed
back
because you can't get people in theaters that are not open.
No.
But some movies are actually releasing on VOD day and date.
Yeah, I
They
would
announced
imagine there would
yesterday.
be
There's a
some that would
couple.
do it,
Like there's a
yeah.
couple bigger ones too, and some of the ones that are supposed to be coming out like in a few months just got pushed up to this Friday and next Friday and a couple yesterday.
Yeah, I feel like some of these ones that are getting moved like a year, I'm like, there's no way they're keeping that far. Like,
It's insane for me that the Fast and the Furious movie was the one that got me. It was supposed to
So
come
far.
out April this year, and now it's coming out May of next year.
Like
over a year.
over a year, and that trailer got me hyped, bro. And I have not seen any of the recent Fast and the
Neither have
Furious
I.
films, but
Neither
that
have I.
but that trailer
I
got
haven't
me
even
fucking
seen it.
hyped, bro.
I just don't watch them anymore. I don't even watch the trailers anymore.
Did you watch the first Fast and the Furious movie
Yeah.
ever?
Yeah, the very first one. Yeah, Fast and the Furious.
And you're like, yeah, that needs to be clarified these days.
I know.
The Fast and the Furious
It's
was
a
the
different
first one.
movie. Yeah.
This is basically a total self jack off of the first.
Oh
movie.
God. Okay. Are they going smaller scale?
No. Largest.
Christ.
Nothing is smaller scale in the Fast and the Furious, bro.
See, but that's what
This
I
motherfucker
like.
Vin Diesel is it's ridiculous.
He's too big of a star.
It looks insane.
He's too big of a star
But
now to do anything small.
Yeah.
That sucks.
No, and actually, I'm not surprised that that it got pushed back, but that was definitely a
That's
very
just
large
so
pushback.
long, like-
Wasn't there another one, James Bond or something that got?
Yeah, James
ridiculous?
Bond got. I don't know how long the James Bond one is, but the James Bond one I felt got delayed before the big pandemic of it all started.
Yeah, they were ahead of it.
That started like the day after the Billie Eilish song came out. Like that delay came right after.
Yeah.
Which I don't know any other Billie Eilish songs, by the way, but that Bond theme is a banger.
She's extremely talented.
She kills
Illuminati
that
puppet.
song. Good.
No,
Good.
she's
Give me
cool.
them Illuminati
Actually,
puppets.
I like Billie Eilish.
You like a lot of Illuminati puppets.
I do actually. They make good music.
Yeah, me and you was kicks in it with Gaga.
I still put that on at work all the time. I'll put on the Fame Monster. Yeah.
Yep. All day.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
day.
Anything after that is iffy, but that album was fantastic.
Yeah, I
But,
agree. I agree. Fame Monster is peak.
Yeah, I think Billie Eilish was a good choice for the Bond theme. They always pick the right person at the right time for those Bond themes.
100%. Chris
wild.
Cornell did the best one ever for Casino Royale. You Know My Name.
You think that was the best one ever?
That's my favorite one ever.
You think they've ever done like a poll?
I guarantee some site has done a poll.
Somebody's
I
done a
guarantee
poll.
at least one site. Actually, I guarantee at least 3 sites have done one every single year that a Bond movie has come out.
Yeah. No, that's probably very true.
Every time a Bond movie comes
Where
out,
does the current
day
song
after the
rank
theme
among
comes
the
out,
other
they're
songs?
Oh, which one's best?
Yeah. Yeah.
And they either switch up their rankings or don't, depending on the year. They're always good. There's never been a really bad one, but some of them really stand out.
I like the who bodied it recently, Adele.
Yeah, for Skyfall.
Yeah.
The song was Skyfall too. Yeah,
Song
that was
Skyfall.
really good.
And that was a good movie.
Yeah.
I feel like Idris Elba has the coronavirus now. Imagine if he was James Bond, it would
Yeah.
have been pushed back even further.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So
or he
shouts
might
out
not
to
have gotten
Daniel
it at
Craig.
all because Daniel Craig didn't get it.
You got to be
But
James
they've
Bond.
also finished filming, I guess. Or did they? Why did they fucking push that back? I want that movie.
I feel like they're just always
I love James Bond.
changing things. They take from the video game industry. It's just like, you can just update it.
Yeah.
You know what I
Visual
mean?
effects and shit.
It's just like,
Do
you
whatever
know
you
what? We're
want.
going to move the release date because we're going to fucking make
Yeah.
some changes. We
Yeah.
didn't get a good response to this trailer,
Yeah.
so we're going to make some changes to the whole movie. And
They got a good
yeah.
response out of me for that trailer because that trailer was tight. I loved that.
Is it supposed to be his last one?
Yes, this is his last one.
I know they've said that
I
a
know.
couple times.
But he's the best Bond ever, so I'm happy we got
he
one
is.
more.
Yeah, he's fantastic.
Anytime he wants to change his mind on that, I'm okay with it because he's the best Bond. Love it. I don't see how someone's gonna. They have to take some time after his movie before they do another one.
Yeah.
They can't jump right into one. They
No,
didn't do
they
that after
definitely can't.
Brosnan.
They
And
can't
Brosnan
jump
wasn't
right
half
into
as
it.
good.
They can't reboot that franchise that quickly because it's been so long and so many films now,
Yeah.
and for so long.
Yeah, well, exactly. It's been since, 2000 and... Fuck, man. I don't even remember. Wasn't that,
I think it was early 2000s, yeah.
Wasn't it? 2005, I think it was, for Casino Royale. And now we're at 2020. This motherfucker's been Bond for so long.
I know they fucking... That shit's probably... Well, I think the release date is still in 2020, but who knows?
Yeah,
man.
they just keep backing the Brinks truck up to his house. Being like, come on, one more, buddy.
A dump truck full of money.
One more, buddy. Just come on. Fucking goddamn, man.
They did that with Robert Downey Jr. as well. Just kept pulling up that dump truck.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
But they did they did a
but he got the right ending.
fantastic job. Fantastic.
Him and
job.
Cap got the
Very
right ending in that
graceful.
movie.
Graceful.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
So I was saying to Tyson earlier, actually, before we got off on that Vigilant Citizen thing, before we were talking, every time I do I get into the wacky theories a little bit, and there's a lot of anti-Disney conspiracy theories out there, of course, but then I see beautiful, graceful art
Yeah.
accomplished in a way that promotes genuine human. Like what is genuinely the lesson in all of their films is genuine human connection,
Yep.
and that's what's
Yeah.
important. And right down to the Marvel movies and stuff like that. And in those movies, they could be so hijacked. Those like if you were an evil machine of some sort, right? You could easily hijack these superhero plot lines and turn them into something that brainwashes people, or like puts the wrong images into kids' heads, or like whatever it is, right? But
100%.
they actually do a really, really good job of like giving the story its integrity and giving the source material its proper honor, while at the same time like infusing it with a lot of really good messages.
100%. Yeah, no, they could go very Halloween 3 Silver Shamrock fucking with it, but they, I feel like they're doing the right thing with most of their messaging, and everything seems positive.
Yeah.
And like everything you see, like, and once again, I mean, the vast majority of it is curated by Disney. But a lot of it is not. Like, a lot of it is from outside sources and stuff like that, where all these actors seem to really bond through these films and, like, become good friends and, like, have running jokes with each other. Like, I mean, the original Avengers all got tattoos that are matching on their
what
body
an
and
experience
stuff. Like,
it must
you know
have
what I
been.
mean?
And what I love about that group is they weren't all
Big names.
and even the one that was a comeback,
A tarnished
film,
name,
right?
yeah. He was a very tarnished name. Like, he had to be fought for to get in there.
Yeah, exactly.
And like that's why, thank God for Favreau, because like that man fighting for
that's what created
RDJ,
That's what created everything.
everything. That entire universe, like, rests on his very capable shoulders, like through RDJ.
Yeah,
Like,
and
it's
there's
awesome.
just so many ways that could have been executed poorly. The whole MCU thing, right? Or cheaply or shittily, and DC's attempts at copying it is a prime example, but of how it could have been done poorly.
Yeah, no shit.
But once they kicked, like, I remember from the minute they announced that 3-year plan that ended with the 2-part Infinity War and Endgame, and they announced everything that was coming, I'm like, okay, they've got this shit on fucking lockdown.
When they called it Infinity War Part 1 and 2.
Yeah, exactly. From that original announcement, every single movie was fire.
Every single one.
And it just got doper and
All of
doper. And
them.
then the whole doing Civil War as Captain America 3. Right, and that was basically an Avengers.
Team Iron Man.
That was basically an Avengers film.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I was Team Iron Man through that whole movie. Captain America was the bad guy in his own movie.
That's a good debate. That's a good debate. I was actually I would always be on Team Iron Man as far as which character I like better, but I think I was morally on the side of Captain America in that movie, if I remember correctly.
I just think it's bullshit that he knew that Bucky killed Tony's parents.
Yeah.
And he never told Tony. He just
That was
kept it to
bullshit.
himself.
That was bullshit.
And that's the betrayal. Like, that's the betrayal.
That was a betrayal.
Tony never betrayed Cap throughout it. Like, he... You know what I mean?
Tony stays true.
Yeah, man.
But
And everything he
Tony
does
wanted
is
to work
with
for the
good
government.
intention.
Tony wanted to work for the government, and Captain America was like, "Nah, B, these motherfuckers are shady. We got this shit. I know what the fuck is right and wrong."
And he's right in that sense that the government's shady, but like, look at Tony. Tony also, while he's under the government like sanctions and stuff and with them, he's also going around them when he has to. Like, no one's gonna stop Iron Man from going and fixing something if he has to.
Yeah, that's true.
No one's gonna stop Iron Man.
That's
from doing
very
that.
true. He's smarter than everybody, and they all know it. Yeah,
And he'd help them all do that kind of shit.
yeah.
Like, it's crazy, you know what I mean? So like, I was that whole movie, and me and my one roommate debated all the time, like, because he is hardcore Team Cap, I am hardcore Team Iron Man, like, and going into it, we were both that. So like, it's great. I love trolling him about it.
Yeah, Civil War was so fucking
Such a good movie.
And then they
That-
threaded in Spider-Man then, and then
Yes, bringing Spidey in was so clutch.
and Black Panther in the
And
same
Panther,
movie.
yeah, introducing them both there. Well,
And then
'cause-
both of their solo movies were perfect after that. It was just like, oh my god, man.
yeah. Well, and I love that before they had permission or had the talks or anything, Marcus and McFeely and the Russo brothers did not have a version of the script that didn't have Spider-Man in it.
Really?
Yeah,
They're
they've come out and said
we're
it.
gonna get Spider-Man.
Yeah, they're like, no, we need Spider-Man, and Kevin was like, okay, well, you got to do a version without it just in case because there's no guarantees here. And they're like, okay, and he walked out and was like, we're not making a version without Spider-Man.
You can't. And fucking thank God they didn't.
Yeah,
because they could not settle for doing that without
because
Spider-Man.
they didn't want to give them a reason to out of the thing.
Yeah.
They're like, well, we have another version anyway, so we'll leave. They're like, no, just get it.
We're
Just
getting
get it.
Spider-Man.
We need it. And like, oh my God, did you see the rumor about Spider-Man 3?
No, I did not.
So Spidey, spoilers for Far From Home here. Have you seen Far From Home?
Yes, I have.
Spoilers for Far From Home. He's been outed. Peter Parker has been outed as Spider-Man, right? Obviously, he's going to need a lawyer. And who's the best goddamn lawyer in New York City? Matt motherfucking Murdock.
Oh.
And who's the best Matt motherfucking Murdock?
The motherfucker from the series?
Charlie Cox.
Really?
Yeah. So he's going to be that. And it would
From the
lead
moment
to
I
a
thought-
solo movie.
Dude, if they... See, I don't want any Daredevil spoilers because I've been slacking on that series hard.
Yeah.
But from the moment they introduced the new Spider-Man, I was like, if they fucking bring Wilson Fisk into the Spider-Man
Yes.
universe
I'm so glad you just said
and
that.
have
D'Onofrio.
that as
Vincent
fucking
D'Onofrio.
Kingpin
He's such a perfect
in
Kingpin.
the MCU films, he's the best.
He's the best.
Kingpin. He's probably I think he's the best, one of the best Marvel villains
of all time.
portrayed
I agree.
on screen.
I agree.
Incredible. And I haven't seen season 3, so I'm
Vincent
fucking
D'Onofrio has
really
been killing it since Full Metal Jacket.
That guy's fucking great, man. I didn't know I didn't know what else he had been in, like when I had watched Daredevil, and then when I saw him in like clips of him in other things, I was like, Jesus Christ. Like what an actor. What an actor. Man.
He's amazing. I love that guy.
Because when I was growing up, the 90s Spider-Man cartoon always had Kingpin as a Spider-Man villain. Mm-hmm. And that's always what I remembered Kingpin as a Spider-Man villain.
Absolutely.
And then into the multiverse. What was that Spider-Man movie called?
Into the Spider-Verse.
Into the multiverse.
No, into the multiverse is what they introduced in Far From Home.
Yes, there you go. Into the Spideyverse, Spider-Verse, had fucking Kingpin as the villain, and I'm like, okay, so now
that was a beautiful depiction.
Oh, it was perfect.
Perfect pull from the comics.
Yeah, exactly. And then I'm like, okay, so now they're sort of reestablishing Kingpin as a Spider-Man villain again.
Yeah.
What if there's a possibility that we could get him from Daredevil in there? And again, the Matt Murdock from the series would be great.
He's amazing. He was such a good
Peter
Matt.
Parker's lawyer, bro.
Yeah, so that's
what
that would be.
I really hope they do it.
Yeah, which also, I don't know about you, but one of my favorite Spider-Man arcs, multiple sets of arcs they've done, is Spider-Man versus Punisher.
I don't even know if I've ever seen any material out of that.
Beautiful work. It's beautiful.
Spider-Man versus Punisher. That's exciting.
And
could you imagine them doing something
John
like
Bernthal.
That? Yeah. That'd be huge.
Because if Charlie is Daredevil, then Vincent has to be Kingpin, and John has to be Punisher. And all three of them have talked about wanting to save Daredevil. Like all three of them donated to the Save Daredevil campaign, where they ended up putting up billboards in Times Square and like all this shit. So it looks like it caught the attention.
And I think there'd be enough fan appreciation there for them to bother. Because I could just see like the movie executive people being like, oh, we want to recast like more famous people or whatever for the movies. And it's like, nah, you got to use those motherfuckers from the show. But the fact that they're doing so many series now, like I don't have Disney Plus, but it looks like pretty much everything after post Endgame plot right now is all series. Like it's all
a lot of it is. So there's the first one up is going to be which one is it? Falcon and the Winter Soldier series, which looks like it'll be fire. There's also
they all look like such a dope concept for a series.
Then after that is Loki, I think. Yeah. Which rumor is that Kang is who Owen Wilson is playing. Kang the Conqueror.
Oh shit.
And yeah,
That's gonna be nuts.
Yeah.
I hope they do it work
'Cause
in
the
a
Time
lot
Force
of the
is in
Greek
it.
mythology stuff. Like
Yeah.
that'll be so sick.
yeah. So Time Force is in it. That's confirmed, and Kang is always integral with that. And that's the team that Owen Wilson's working for, and he's a pretty big name if you're bringing him in. After that is Scarlet Witch and the Vision, or WandaVision is what it's called. Sorry, that one is gonna be fucking fire too.
WandaVision.
It's a Dick Van Dyke Show meets Marvel epic.
Yeah, that's so. I saw a trailer
Canned
for
laughs
that.
and all.
Yeah, I saw a trailer for that, and I was like, "This looks absolutely brilliant."
Yeah, genius shit.
Got
And it's
Vision.
gonna lead into Doctor Strange 2, multiverse. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. My
So
theory.
that's gonna be an actual movie.
Yeah. It was gonna have Scott Derrickson coming back to direct, but there was creative differances because Well, the literal creative differences. Scott
Actually
Derrickson
creative.
wanted to make a straight horror movie,
Oh shit.
and Marvel was like, "What? We're still Marvel. Like, it can't just be a straight horror movie for the sequel to a movie that kids saw."
But Joker.
Yeah, it's like that's a different universe from their other thing, Scott.
Yeah.
This is Doctor Strange going into
Yeah, you can't make
from
a
kids
sequel.
that is rated R.
If you were gonna do a different genre, it'd
Yeah.
have to be a separate
Yeah.
fucking thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, you couldn't just make Doctor Strange
All
to
of a sudden,
goddamn horror
kids
film.
go to Doctor Strange and are bawling their eyes out, like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because
And you could do some
you-
horrifying shit.
oh, if you've seen a Scott Derrickson movie, you know that motherfucker makes some scary shit.
And the whole Doctor Strange traveling through multiverses, dimensions, and shit like that.
Yeah.
I could only begin to imagine.
Well, and my theory is that the villain for Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness is Wanda. The whole
That'd be so sick.
the whole of WandaVision is in her fucking mind. It's something she's creating. And it leads into, because what they've said is by the end of WandaVision, we will have seen Wanda transform into the Scarlet Witch that we know from the comics. And that my Scarlet Witch from the comics that I remember is the one from like H.O.M.E and No More Mutants and like
Yeah, I just remember
where she created alternate universes.
the Brotherhood and shit.
Yeah, so like she would create alternate realities and alternate universes, which is what he's going into, multiverse of madness.
Right. So WandaVision's gonna be a universe within the within her brain that,
Something that
Doctor
she's
Strange
dealing
is
with,
going to yeah.
She's trying to cope with Vision's death. Vision's
Okay.
dead.
Yeah, exactly. That's why the first thing I saw. That's why it was like such eerie undertones that
was
that
all
trailer,
black and
right?
white and
Yeah, and I'm like, wait a minute, Vision's
pristine.
not even alive.
It's the perfect idyllic 50s.
Exactly. It's
leave
like
it
that
to
Leave It to
Beaver,
Beaver type Americana.
Dick Van Dyke Show world.
Yeah, Make America
where
Great Again.
everything's perfect.
Yeah.
And she's gonna see that because that's what she wants.
Yeah.
So she's gonna make that her reality. But in doing so, I think she will lose her sanity and really go fucked up.
So Doctor Strange is gonna be the only one that can get in there.
Exactly, because Doctor Strange should help her. You know what I mean? Like, Doctor Strange should be the one who helps her hone her powers.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
She's the most powerful being in the universe at the moment. She just doesn't know it yet.
Mm-hmm.
And like, she should become an apprentice, sort of thing, because who knows magic better in this world currently? Nobody. Stephen Strange. Like, he's the only one. So, yeah, for him to train her and all that, and for it to come after him having to like rescue her from this fucking madness.
Yeah, and even Vision being her first like sort of inspiration. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Vision's like a fucking all powerful kind of all knowing type being as
Yeah,
well, right? So it's like a
exactly.
perfect guidance for her before
Yeah.
Doctor Strange, and then you can't imagine
Yeah,
better.
it's perfect. So I hope that's what they do. Like, it sounds so good to me.
No, they seem to be going in a really smart direction, and the whole timing of the Disney Plus release with the after, like they're just fucking
They're set.
they're playing 4-dimensional chess at Disney. Man. They're just on fire.
Yeah,
Absolutely
600
on fire.
IQ shit.
Let's hope this on the other side. Let's hope this fucking Batman movie's good, man. The Joker's fantastic.
Joker was amazing.
You know it would be.
Those shots from Matt Reeves' Twitter of the Batmobile and
Really
Batman's
good.
full suit.
Look really good. Yeah. When I first saw the images of the suit, I was like, "What the fuck?" I was like, "They're fucking this shit up already."
Oh no, I loved it.
I'm not fucking with the collar, and I'm not fucking with the armor and I don't know. But when I saw the new images with the Batmobile, I thought it looked really dope.
I think he's going through slight testing phases and stuff in it because the one of him next to the Batmobile, he didn't have that collar.
Yeah, and I did think it looked a lot better.
It's like piecemeal stuff, and I think the smart thing about it, Kevin's
it's supposed to be like a detective, like, you know what I mean? Like I
Oh,
didn't
that's what
expect
it
him to
is,
be
for
so
sure.
heavily armored.
Yeah,
You know,
well,
I thought it would be more slick, kind of
Yeah.
like.
I trust Matt Reeves to stick with what he said, which is that he's making a noir Batman. Like he's making Batman noir, like a detective story.
Oh, it's gonna be sick.
I think it's
man.
based on the Long Halloween too.
You have multiple villains and shit too.
Think about all the ones we've got already. Colin Farrell as the Penguin.
That's such an interesting choice, man.
Yeah.
And
Johnny
random.
Depp in talks to be in that universe's
is that for real?
Joker.
Is that for real?
Might be. I saw an article from I think it was Variety about
That
it.
would be the only person left that could potentially do it any justice.
Yeah.
Like that. He's the only man left on this planet.
If they found a third, they could do that current comic arc they're doing, 3 Jokers.
Just don't let it be Jared Leto.
Oh shit! I forgot there's a third current one. No, never mind. I take that back. Don't think of that, DC.
No, but see, the thing is, like, Jared Leto as an actor was a good choice, but then the direction he took it in was just like, oh my god, it's very strange.
It was really bad.
Very strange.
He was one of the worst parts of that movie.
Yeah,
and the second worst part being the editing team.
A lot. Yeah, I was gonna say, there's a lot of problems with that movie.
Yeah. Poor David Ayer had his fucking movie stolen from him on the editing table.
Is that what happened?
Yeah, remember that amazing Bohemian Rhapsody?
They were all over the place with that, man.
Remember that amazing Bohemian Rhapsody trailer that came out?
Yeah.
Well, we all loved that so much, and this is why it's our fault. It's our fault.
It's our fault. People that pay money to see this shit.
Yeah, exactly. They loved it so much. Like, everybody loved that fucking trailer so much that they're like, oh, that's what people want. Pop songs and, like, hit, like, famous songs and, like, weird shit.
I thought we wanted Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, exactly. Like, but precisely a ripoff of it. Like, the Transmorpher.
It should have been a totally different tone, you know?
Yeah, and what they did was they gave the final edit of the film to the company that did that trailer, the trailer cutting company that did that trailer.
Oh my god!
Who are not feature film editors.
That is so fucking stupid.
Yeah,
that is so fucking.
You want to know what's fucked up? I'm pretty sure I saw Birds of Prey, but I can't remember.
It was that blah.
I don't know. It might be if I saw it.
This guy doesn't remember if he saw the movie.
I know I went to the movies intending to see it, but I can't remember if I actually saw it.
I don't think that's a good sign.
I might have fell asleep. Or it might have been shit. Or I might not. I might have gone to see something else that came out that week.
Yeah, I remember seeing the Suicide Squad, and then about a week later, I couldn't remember a single plot point from it.
See, and that's what I mean. Is I don't think I remember.
I was like, what? I was like, Harley Quinn's ass.
That was good. That was good. That was good work.
And
good acting. From
they had her say pussy a few times.
Yep.
And that's about all I fucking remember.
That's all that mattered.
And the yeah, it is
all that mattered.
And the plot was ridiculous. And I remember being impressed with Will Smith's Deadshot because I thought it was going to be awful.
Not coming back.
Oh, well, I'm not. I'm as impressed as I was with it. Yeah. I'm not going to miss it.
No,
I'm not going to miss it at all.
No, it was kind of corny. Like his storyline was corny. His performance was fantastic.
Yeah, like his performance was good. I thought I was convinced that I would not be able to look and not see Will Smith.
Yeah,
but he did a good job.
Yeah, especially when they finally gave him his mask and let him put that on. Then I was fully invested as Deadshot because I was like, oh, okay, I'm not seeing Fresh Willy. Like I'm not,
And then fucking Croc was my boy, Mr. Echo. and I was all hyped for that.
Was it really?
Yeah, it was. And then it's, as it turns out,
Bad work.
it was, not on his, not
No.
necessarily on his
Once
part.
again, bad editing.
Not a
everything.
good representation of that character
And
whatsoever.
and I don't want to say bad direction because I think the edit probably leaves out the best stuff he did. Because he has actively said that's not my movie.
They just transformed the whole vibe of it, and you can just tell.
It was supposed
just
to be dark.
The tone, or the overall
It was
tone
supposed to
of
be a
it.
David Ayer movie.
The overall tone of it was not Suicide Squad, and the whole rollout of it changed like midway through the hype train.
Yeah.
It turned into very I forget the whole art style of the way they even did it was just very
Color.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Bright
ripoff.
colors. Boom, boom.
Yeah,
That's all it was.
That's not Suicide Squad.
No, it should be dark. It should be fucked up. There should be more things that are like
It's
the
called
Mexican.
Suicide Squad.
Yeah, there should be more things like the Mexican getting his fucking head blown off because he's like, I'm not dealing with this.
Instead they it was very strange what they did.
Yeah,
with that
very
movie.
weird. But that being said, James Gunn, who did Guardians of the Galaxy, is doing the sequel.
Is that actually
to-
happening?
Oh, it's already done.
It's done.
It's done.
I remember hearing that was going to happen when the whole James Gunn controversy was going on.
No, yeah, that happened, and now he's coming, and now he's doing Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3
and
next.
he's coming back to do Guardians again.
Oh, yeah.
Oh shit.
Oh, that
So
was
he's doing
that's
both.
from a while ago.
So when
they
is this?
announced it.
When is the Suicide Squad
Coming out?
2 coming out?
Ooh, I want to say July or August.
If it doesn't get taken out by the coronavirus. So who's coming back cast wise?
Margot Robbie.
Is she?
Yeah.
Good, that's good.
And not Captain. I don't think Captain Boomerang is. Who's the other? Who's the guy who was like the guard? He was like, he was one of the cops basically. Pretty boy. He was the most
remember.
average white boy motherfucker I've ever seen. in my life. I
That
don't
guy's
know.
coming back. Chad.
Yeah. Okay. Chad.
Chad's coming back. We got Chad returning.
Chad returning. Confirmed Chad. The Suicide. Yeah. It's not even called Suicide Squad 2, by the way. They know how bad that movie is. It's a sequel still because it's got the same people, but it's called The Suicide Squad. They just threw a "the" in front of it.
That is the move these days, isn't it?
August.
It's we're getting the Batman later.
Oh yeah. Well, The Batman is an actual title.
That's true.
And it's an actual title we've never had.
Yeah, that's true. We
This is
did
just the Suicide.
we did have Batman.
In '89, yeah. Not 2 years ago.
That's how recent was Suicide Squad? Was it that recent?
Pretty recent. Let's see here.
2-3 years for sure. Yeah.
Suicide Squad 2016. So 4 years.
Yeah, 3-4.
But still, it's pretty recent to do a sequel that doesn't acknowledge the original because it still has the same cast and is a
And
sequel.
just called it the Suicide Squad.
But it's got a big cast to it, man. It's good. It's got John Cena's in it.
So is John Cena?
Yeah. Margot Robbie, Viola Davis is coming back as.
Okay, yeah, she's
oh,
good.
Captain Boomerang is coming back. Joel Courtney or Jai Courtney.
So they just
Joel
not.
Kinnaman is the white boy. Is Chad. Joel Kinnaman.
His name is Joel. That would have
Yeah.
been the second guess
know.
after Chad.
David Dastmalchian, who is the Russian guy from Ant-Man's crew.
Okay.
Who's a major nerd. He's great. And yeah, a couple other people.
So is there just no Joker character in this?
No.
That's probably a smart.
I
move.
don't believe there is, unless somebody's.
You can't
been
force
recast.
the Joker unless he is Batman's villain. You cannot force the Joker into the sidelines of the project.
No, you
man.
can't. He can't just not really be doing much of anything other than crashing 3 helicopters. How do you have 5 helicopter crashes in one movie?
Which are you referring to?
Suicide Squad.
Has 5 helicopter
I'm pretty
crashes?
sure. Yeah.
I'm not surprised.
There's 3 in that last section.
yeah, the whole
when the city's all
yeah, and the
There's
villains,
3.
those alien villains.
That's how they get there.
Yeah,
they get
that's
there
right.
via helicopter crash. And then they get into another helicopter that crashes, and someone shoots down another helicopter.
I have a vision for this film. Helicopters.
crashing.
Lots of helicopters
It's like
crashing.
it's like the other side of MASH that you didn't see.
The dark side of MASH. Suicide Squad.
Yeah. Oh my god. Well, the dark side of MASH is Abyssinian Henry. That's a sad episode.
And Schindler's List. I think there's a few movies about the dark side of MASH.
Schindler's List is World War II. MASH is the fucking Korean War.
Oh, God damn it! I'm thinking of isn't there another? What's
You're
Hogan's
thinking of
Heroes?
Hogan's Heroes.
That's it. The dark side of Hogan's Heroes is Schindler's List.
Fucking yeah, Hogan's Heroes.
I knew there was a World War II fucking comedy show.
all.
Yeah. Propaganda.
90-year-old references nobody gets.
Yeah, no, I don't even get them.
I do, because I had a fucking old Irish grandmother who wouldn't get off the TV and watch kid things for a kid.
Loved her Hogan's Heroes.
Hogan Heroes, MASH.
Where'd that tube go? I remember specifically grabbing it. I wanted to say what that was.
The space thing?
Yeah, the space rocket.
Space rocket, yeah, that's what it's
We
called.
smoked the space rocket.
It's
That's
a
probably why
blueberry.
it's a very, very lazy sounding podcast.
Yeah,
I'm sure,
shout out
but,
to Nice Guy Party or Party Accessories.
This shit actually tasted like blueberries.
Legitimately tasted like blueberries. It did taste like a kind of like a almost the same way like blueberry like vape juices, like bullshit juices and stuff like that taste, but like more. Like it was pungent. It was good.
Yeah.
And just in a straight up smoke, it was nice.
What was
Resin,
what
keef,
was the name of
and weed.
the other drug dealer from Half Baked?
Samson.
Make sure Samson doesn't know that you're buying off of Mr. Nice Guy Party Accessories.
Exactly.
Bring me to Samson. I love
Abracadabra,
Samson. Abracadabra. Oh my god, I love that movie.
Oh,
The
it's
guy
so
on the
good.
couch.
Oh my god.
No, listen, this isn't about me right now. Fucking Stephen Wright.
Yeah, that was almost a Silent Bob-esque character.
Yeah.
It was the whole movie just like nods and approval, or like so, and then he just delivers the.
He's usually just asleep for the whole movie on the
yeah,
couch,
exactly.
like literally just face down
the
asleep.
One time they rolled him over to give him the joint.
Yeah, he goes, yeah, and right back
And then
down.
to the end, he drops the philosophy on him.
Because they're trying to see if he's gonna pay rent.
Yeah.
He's like, listen, that's not important right now.
Yeah.
What's important is getting homeboy out of jail. I can't
Harlan
remember.
Williams.
Yeah, Harlan Williams. Oh, legend Harlan Williams.
Yeah.
Love him.
Yeah, he
Love
drank.
Harlan
He
Williams.
drank the pee in Dumb and Dumber.
Holy shit, that is him. He was the. Oh my god. That is fucking hilarious.
Yeah, right.
I haven't
Young
seen Dumb and
Harlan
Dumber in
Williams,
so long.
the greatest comedy film ever, or one of them.
Yeah, I'm so happy they
It's
never
right up
made any
there.
sequels to that.
They did. It was
No, they
awful.
didn't. No, they didn't.
Oh yeah, I'm also so happy they didn't make any sequels to that. Whew.
Not one.
Not even one.
No, definitely wasn't
No
one called
prequels.
Dumberer.
Yeah, or two with
2 O's.
the word two spelled incorrectly. Yeah,
Yeah.
or in the wrong context.
Yeah, very wrong context.
That was so stupid. Why did they do that? They didn't do it.
Yeah, but
Didn't
Jim Carrey's
ever
back
happen.
because now he's Dr. Robotnik.
That'll be well. You know what?
It does look like actually he's doing like
That,
Jim Carrey level
No,
stuff.
I'm saying him as Dr. Robotnik was an excellent choice. I thought. Like
Yeah.
I can't picture really anybody else playing
I
Dr.
haven't
Robotnik.
seen the movie yet.
Me
but
neither. I heard good things.
And the trailers, like I said, it looks like he's doing like old Jim Carrey, the
Yeah.
Jim Carrey I remember level.
Oh,
shit.
yeah.
Like
Best thing he ever did is still White Baby on
What
in
the
Living
fuck
Color.
is a white baby?
He did Vanilla Ice parody on In
yeah.
Living Color.
On In
where
Living
he-
Color.
At the very beginning, he boots his shoe off and he's like, "All right, stop, while I do up my laces."
Everything he did on In Living Color.
Oh,
was
so
amazing.
genius. Fire Marshal Bill.
In his
Let me show you something.
his fucking snow parodies too, man.
Oh yeah.
Informer.
Oh my God, Informer.
Imposter.
Yeah. No, Jim Carrey is a genius.
He's the goat.
He really fucked up sticking his dick in Jenny McCarthy.
Really?
She's pretty crazy.
No, but I mean, he fucked Jenny McCarthy.
They have a kid.
Really?
Yeah. So here's
Jesus
the thing.
Christ, I don't know what's going on.
Jenny
in the world
McCarthy.
anymore.
They also got divorced, and she like went off on him and sent him into like a suicidal.
Okay, so hold on a second. Jenny McCarthy, fat chick.
No.
Who am I thinking of?
You're thinking of.
The fat funny chick that's in every movie is the fat funny chick.
The chick from Bridesmaids and
Yeah, her name is something
shit,
like Jenny
it's
McCarthy,
something
isn't it?
McCarthy, yeah.
No, I'm talking about the supermodel, the thin blonde
That's very different.
supermodel.
very
Jenny
different.
McCarthy.
Melissa McCarthy is who
Melissa
I'm
McCarthy,
thinking of.
yes,
There's a
yes.
very big difference between Jenny
Yes,
McCarthy
big.
and Melissa.
Literal big difference.
Very big difference.
But yeah. So Jenny McCarthy thinks that her child has autism because of childhood vaccines, not because the father is Jim Carrey. And I think that that's insane. Because if autism was a person, it would be Jim Carrey.
That is very true. I think you get what you pay for when you have a baby with
Yeah,
Jim Carrey.
I don't think you get to blame anything else other than the father was Jim Carrey.
Yeah, no, essentially, I can't imagine it being anything else whatsoever.
Yeah, it is a weird thing, you know.
Yeah. Was there a big age gap there?
I feel like there is.
Yeah, that may have something to do with it as well.
Yeah, I mean maybe. But yeah, who knows, man? Like it's, I just can't stand that she was able to fuck up my boy like that, because like he's like our childhood, man.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Ace Ventura, The Mask,
And he's you know, I mean, he's a very happy camper these days for the most part.
yeah, he seems to be better. He seems to be really positive
How recently is this stuff you're talking about?
Oh, like 5, 6 years, 7
Okay,
years, 8
yeah,
years.
no,
Like,
he does
it's
seem
older.
better. And
Like,
apparently,
it
the
happened a while
show that
ago.
he's on now is really fucking good.
Is that the one about No, the clown one was not him. That was.
No, he is. He's some sort of he's like a child entertainer. In fact,
Yeah.
speaking of autism,
Oh, he's like a Mr.
he's
Rogers
style
style thing, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He's definitely
Yeah.
autistic in this show, but apparently it's really fucking good. I need to watch it.
Yeah. I mean, I
It's called
love
Kidding.
a lot of the weird shit he does. Like even number 23, I love. Like, I think
That's a weird
I think
choice.
that's a
I saw
gangster
that in
movie.
theaters, man. And that movie never ever gets talked about.
It should.
Nobody ever mentions
I
that
like
shit.
it. I
Yeah.
like that movie.
Yeah, it was good.
People
it was
hate
good.
on that movie a lot, but I think it's good. Like it's weird numerology shit. And
Yeah, well, my conspiracy side will tell you that movie got suppressed because they exposed numerology, which is an Illuminati tool.
Definitely possible. Look at the Illuminati puppets here to stop us from talking about the Illuminati.
As always, man. Every time something stops.
Every time someone tries to stop
Something's
us.
got to stop us. That's how it's.
I think
how
it's
it
a
is.
coincidence that she's got two different color eyes.
Yeah.
I think not.
Oh shit! One
Think
of them
not.
is all seeing.
Yeah.
Right, Chloe?
See, Chloe's got something to say.
Yeah.
But yeah, what were we talking about again? I'm baked. Why do we get to Illuminati puppets?
Everything leads to Illuminati.
Everything leads to
puppets on
Illuminati
Ezza Trips
puppets,
Balls.
Chloe, especially you.
Fuck. Oh, Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey, not on Illuminati puppet.
Not an Illuminati puppet at all. They better not fucking get Jim Carrey. They better not goddamn get Jim Carrey.
Definitely not. Definitely not. I think we can safely say that.
No, he was not. He is not controllable.
He's not giving
That
any.
man is out of control.
He's not giving us a coherent enough message to.
Did you see the You've seen Man on the Moon, obviously, where he plays Andy
Oh,
Kaufman.
God, yes.
Incredible film, right?
Do you know how much I love Andy Kaufman? He did a work shoot interview, as they call it in the wrestling business, with Jerry the King Lawler. Like,
Oh, he
when
fucking
he got
tortured
punched.
that guy. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
He mentally tortured that guy, and
Well,
then
they
so
were-
did Jim Carrey while filming Man on the Moon.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
oh
because
yeah.
he basically became Andy Kaufman.
Yeah, I haven't watched Andy and Me yet.
That's where I was getting to, bro.
I've
You need
not
to watch.
watched
You need
that
to,
yet.
you need to
I'm kinda
watch that shit,
scared
bro.
too.
You need to watch that shit, man. And so do you out there. Need to watch.
I've
Andy and Me.
I've heard
Dude,
I've heard he was unbearable to live with.
You want to talk about an artist doing his fucking craft, getting
getting
lost
on his
in it.
grizzy?
Oh my God.
He is he
That man
is
became
spectacular.
Andy Kaufman to the point where Andy Kaufman's family was had to tearfully say goodbye
Oh, Jesus
when Jim
Christ.
Carrey was going to go back to being Jim Carrey, because they really felt like Andy
he had
was
become
was
Andy.
was back in their lives, like they felt like they had him again, kind of thing.
That's
And
crazy.
they said it was really hard to let go and shit like that.
That's
like his
crazy.
and they said that's how much, and that's the people that know Andy best, and
Yeah.
Jim didn't even know Andy.
Yeah.
And so he like emulated this man to the point where Andy's own family was like, it's him.
It's him.
Yeah,
Oh,
and they all said
I loved Andy.
and that in itself was would be the ultimate Andy Kaufman move or joke to play on all of them.
Oh,
Would be
yeah.
to fucking torture them through Jim Carrey.
Well,
you know,
conspiracy theory.
every time.
Yeah, Andy Kaufman, and he died of lung cancer.
Coronavirus.
Exactly my thoughts. Precisely.
Kanye West is the modern day Andy Kaufman.
100%.
First.
100%.
Well, no, you didn't hear her first
No,
because
yeah.
even David Letterman. I've always thought, I'm like, Kanye must be influenced by Andy Kaufman.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
no way he's not, right?
Yeah.
And then
100%.
David Letterman has that Netflix show,
Yeah.
and sure enough, he brought up Andy Kaufman to Kanye West. I was like, thank you,
Oh,
David
I didn't
Letterman.
know Kanye did an episode
He did.
of that. I
He
have
did.
not watched that yet.
It was
Odd.
not good timing for Kanye. It was shortly after the whole slavery's a choice and all that stuff. And Letterman just PC'd the hell out of him, and it was kind of yeah. He just kind of didn't really let him talk very much, but it was still good. It's still worth the watch. But there's a segment where I don't know if you've watched that show, but they do like the main interview where they're on the stage, and then they do a segment at that person's place of work or whatever. So they did a segment of that in Kanye's house.
Nice.
And he's showing them all like Yeezy designs and all this shit. Yep. So during that segment, Letterman asked him like, "Were you like, what do you like? Were you a fan of Andy Kaufman or whatever?" And Kanye's like, "Oh, he's like, I fucking love Andy Kaufman. He inspired me a lot." And he's like, and he points out, he's like, I love that, and everything Andy Kaufman did, he literally did it.
Yeah.
Like he literally wrestled women.
Yeah.
And he literally there was no act. He did it.
Yeah.
And
it's called living the gimmick is what that's called in
and when I
the
look
wrestling
at that,
world.
and that's what Kanye's always done as well. Living the gimmick. I like that
Living the
expression.
gimmick is what
I
it's
like
called.
that
That's the most prime example of that would be Ric Flair.
Yeah. Well,
Because have you ever seen Ric Flair not being Ric Flair?
And Hulk Hogan too, you know.
Hogan too, partially, but Hogan does characters where he's not, living that gimmick, like where he's not in character.
So who's another?
There's
good
never a time where
Snoop
he's
Dogg's
not
a
him.
good example of somebody who lives the gimmick.
Yep.
Tommy Chong.
Yep. Oh yeah. So like and it comes from like in the 80s. His gimmick was this, rich, high flying, wheeling and dealing, as he used to say, high flying, wheeling, jet plane flying, limousine riding, wheeling, dealing, kiss stealing, son of a gun. And he lived that. Like he drove around in big cars full of women and with his boys, just getting drunk and doing drugs on the road the whole time, while his wife is at home with 2 kids.
He lives the gimmick.
And like just doing all manner of nonsense on the road, like awful, crazy shit too, and just lived it. That's what he was. He was the bad guy. He was, the ultimate.
Lived the character that he was portraying.
He was always that, and you will never see him not being Ric Flair. Like once in a while, there's a little break in the character, like during his retirement match, right before the final move. He was crying and stuff like that, but like. He lives that shit still. Like that's even within character because he's it's something he's been doing for decades and decades and decades at that point. So like that's living the gimmick, and that I think I love that shit when actors do that and stuff. Like it's really crazy.
Yeah, I find it
always gives
super
you something
fascinating.
interesting.
Yeah.
Heath Ledger with his Joker was very living the gimmick.
That's the other stupid thing about Jared Leto, man. Like, oh, he's mailing used condoms and dead mice to his castmates. Like, that's not the fucking Joker.
And live rats.
Like, that's not the goddamn Joker. That's not the. You're not. That's not method acting.
Being weird.
You're just being Jared Leto. That's what I would do if I was playing Jared Leto in a movie. You know what I'm saying?
I imagine Jared Leto does that in his day-to-day life. Everyone thought he was
being Jared Leto.
Yeah,
man.
they thought he was being method, but he wasn't actually being method. He was just being Jared Leto. Yeah. That's what he does on his spare time. Is send people shit.
He also did the same pranks on the set of. Oh man, I wish I could remember the name of this movie to nail this joke. There's a super serious AIDS buyers Dallas Buyers Club. Jared Leto also sent used condoms to people on the set of Dallas Buyers Club, bro. Oh, that would have been a good joke if I could have remembered the name on time.
Oh my god, that's fucking brutal.
That's just Jared Leto, man.
Used condoms to people in Dallas Buyers Club. I haven't watched that movie because it just seems like a depressing AIDS movie.
It is
and I'm
depressing.
like, I don't
Yeah,
need
just
that
so
in my life.
everybody's
I saw
aware.
Philadelphia.
Just so everybody's aware. Hey, Tom Hanks is ill. Philadelphia conspiracy.
I saw somebody say online that, well, let's be honest, he is the one who would have played the victim in the movie about coronavirus.
Yeah, that's true. That is very true. Yeah, no, what's it called? Dallas Buyers Club is a depressing AIDS movie, for those of you who aren't aware.
Yeah, it seems very
fantastic.
It won Mad Awards, though, right?
Yeah, I believe Matthew McConaughey and Jared Leto both won.
That was part of the McConaissance.
Yes, which died pretty. What has he done lately? I mean, basically, it was that movie and True Detective.
I think he's set to be in a Marvel movie. Or maybe a DC movie.
Is he in that Batman movie?
No, I don't think he's in Batman. That'd be crazy.
He could play the Joker. No, he couldn't.
No, I don't want him to.
No, fuck no.
You know what I like about Harley? All right.
You know what I don't like about you, Bruce?
He's like, all right. And they're like, it's ha 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 ha.
Please, Matthew.
Yeah, whatever you say. All right.
All right.
I'm just a regular guy.
You complete me, Bruce.
That's not even from your movie.
Fucking Matthew McConaughey.
Oh my god, it's so good.
That being said, Dallas Buyers Club, good fucking movie.
Yeah, I will make sure I never check that out.
Yeah, you probably shouldn't.
No, I'm good. Like I said, if anything, I'll watch Philadelphia again. Tom Hanks is the man.
Even though he's an Illuminati puppet.
Oh, of course. I mean, that's why he got corona.
He's actually in jail.
He's pretending. He's in jail.
Yeah, well, no, he's not in jail. He's under arrest for pedophilia. Donald Trump arrested him.
Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
Of all people.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? Right after he played Mr. Rogers in a biopic.
Yeah, and he's also played Walt Disney. He's also played Walt Disney in a biopic.
Was Walt Disney a pedophile? I know he touched my childhood.
Well, I mean, he's zing. No, but he's another children's entertainer, like Mr. Rogers, right?
For sure. So he's just chasing down those children's entertainer roles.
No, but there is I could break down the Tom Hanks conspiracy theory for you if you want.
No, there's no Tom Hanks conspiracy. There can't be.
Yeah.
He's Tom Hanks. He's the most beautiful man ever.
Do you want to know?
Oh, okay. Yes.
I have. Well, actually, I mentioned this on the first half of part of the episode 1 that ended up getting cut.
Okay.
I broke down the Tom Hanks conspiracy theory. I'm not saying that I necessarily believe any of this, but the fact that he ended up being the first person, not that I'm aware of, but she must be complicit if you allow your husband to have sex with children.
Hey, BTK's wife didn't know. He was stalking bitches for decades.
No, the thing with Tom
Harlem
Hanks,
Wolka didn't know.
There's this oh Jesus. It just threw me right off.
Cut point. Sorry,
it's gonna have to be a cut point. No, I'm keeping that in. We're gonna get lynched in these streets out here.
Canceled.
Yeah, no. So basically, there's this fella named Isaac Cappy.
Yeah.
Who was an actor, but not a high level actor, but like a B-list or whatever, C-list even.
Okay.
Who was in Hollywood. He definitely seems like he was a little bit crazy, but definitely there's a lot of, like the Harvey Weinstein case, for example. There's a lot of people in Hollywood that kind of knew what was going on.
Yeah.
You hear things.
Yeah.
You hear
exactly.
This person's into this and this person's into that. They all party together. They all know
People
each
say
other,
it's
right?
one of the worst kept secrets
Yeah.
in Hollywood.
So at the very least, he was in this Isaac Cappy fellow was in that world a little bit. So recently, I mean, you could go deeper and deeper here, but part of the whole theory that there is that all these that these pedophile rings are getting busted up, right? So apparently Washington D.C. and Hollywood also have their own pedophilia problems going on, and that's kind of the last thing that's going to get busted up. So this Isaac Cappy fella, who is in Hollywood, starts coming out doing these like live streams, where he's essentially airing out the pedophilia problem in Hollywood, calling out all these fucking people. Right now, again, it all sounds a little crazy, but what follows is what makes it freaky, right?
Sounds very Corey Feldman.
It is very Corey Feldman in a way, but he's not saying, Isaac Cappy's not saying he got molested, but he's saying that he was basically shown stuff and told stuff. One of the major people he called out was Seth Green.
Wait, Seth Green.
Seth Green of
Scott Evil fame?
Scott Evil fame, exactly.
Oh, man.
And Robot Chicken.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so the whole, quickly...
They're going to be real mad that Colin Quinn didn't take that role.
So the Seth Green has already come out and said that this is absolutely ludicrous. But the Seth Green story is that so Isaac Cappy was pretty good friends with Seth Green. They were kind of in the same class, like age group of actors or whatever.
Yep.
So he used to hang out with Seth Green and his wife, and I guess at some point Seth Green made some joke about, oh, we keep the children hidden behind the bookcase or some shit like that. And then as they're getting more comfortable, he started showing them like rooms that they have that are like
Behind a
like
bookcase.
that are like decorated for children, even though they don't have kids and shit like that. So this Isaac Cappy fella's all freaked out, and anyway, he starts to come out with all this like Hollywood pedophile. So one of the main people that he calls out is Tom Hanks, right? He says Tom Hanks and Steven Spielberg, and that's why they get the highest accolades. Again, this is probably not real, but when you break down, again, a lot of these things, like there's just so many coincidences that support them that it's just like there has to be something there. Yeah. But again, and I love fucking Tom Hanks. You know, I'm in by no means in the business of destroying Tom Hanks. Right. But this is just shit that I've come across. So this Isaac Cappy fellow, one of the people he calls out is Tom Hanks. So long story short, this fella on these live streams, they start getting a little more crazy, and he basically starts claiming that he's under some sort of a psychological attack from people that don't want him exposing this information. Okay. It starts to get a little wonky. Mm-hmm. Tom Hanks has a very strange Instagram account. I don't know if you've ever looked at it. There's a lot of very weird, cryptic kind of shit being posted all the time that you don't really know what the fuck it means, and it's like nobody knows what it means, but it's provocative kind of shit. Yeah. And so it was a few weeks before Isaac Cappy ends, spoiler alert, he ends up committing suicide. A few weeks before Isaac Cappy's suicide, Tom Hanks posts a really weird picture on Instagram, which I believe is still up. And it's on historic Route 66. I forget what states. It's like between Arizona and Texas. Some historic highway stretch between two major states called Route 66.
Yeah, get your kicks on Route 66.
Yeah, so Tom Hanks is on Route 66, posts a picture of a... it's like a glove, like a black, like a biker glove or something along those lines, like a work glove, in the dirt, all covered in dirt, on the side of Route 66, and you can see like his shadow taking a picture of this glove, and it's just a picture of this glove on the side of the road, and the caption is, legendary Route 66 ... roadkill with a question mark, which is like roadkill's an odd thing to say about a human. Because
there's no roadkill on the ground
in the picture at all. It's a glove, like a human hand glove, right? So roadkill's an odd thing to say about a
that
picture.
Is weird.
Like he may have come upon the scene of an act, like saw a glove there and captioned it roadkill with a question mark. Very strange, right? A couple weeks later, Isaac Cappy dies on Route 66.
Oh no.
Commit suicide on that very same stretch of road.
What kind of suicide did he commit on a road?
There was like an overpass.
Oh, and jumped
off an overpass onto Route 66 and died there. Same day as Isaac Cappy's death, Tom Hanks posts an Instagram photo. His son Colin Hanks,
Yeah.
who's a really good actor as well,
Yep.
actually.
Oh yeah.
Has like a handkerchief company.
Yeah.
Like a classy bandana. And Tom Hanks,
And they're repping.
the day Isaac Cappy dies, posts a picture of one of his son's handkerchiefs, like packaged up, and it's a red one. Part of this whole rabbit hole is that a lot of these people who get suicided,
Yeah.
there's a red they're either hung by a red scarf, or there's a red scarf around them somewhere in the room, or there's like some sort of tied to like a red, it's like the calling card sort of thing, like the ritualistic
Okay.
sacrifice calling card.
Now, is that theory that those things are those actually there when they find them?
Well, a major example is Jeffrey Epstein. In his cell, there was a really excessive amount of prison uniforms. There was like fucking 6 or 8 of them or something like that, and they were red colored, and he apparently had hung himself with those.
Okay.
So that's like the prime example. I know there are other examples. I don't want to start listing them because you know, in case I'm wrong.
Yeah, for sure.
But again, this is just the scope of this Tom Hanks theory. So Tom Hanks posts a picture of this red handkerchief. I don't think there was anything significant in the caption or whatever, but it was on the same day that this Cappy fella dies. And the red handkerchief is on top of another bandana, which is like kind of green, and it has a picture of like a RV on the side of like a desert road. It almost looks like the Breaking Bad scene almost.
Yeah.
And it was apparently right near an RV place is where Isaac dropped and shit like that. And, you know, again, if you want to go deeper into it, Isaac Cappy was born in Albuquerque, which is where Breaking Bad is shot.
Yeah.
Isaac Cappy was born in 1977, which is the same year as Colin Hanks. And on the insignia of the bandana, it says something along the lines of, you know, since 1977, whatever. So like Tom
established.
Hanks. So again, it's a lot. Again, you know, these coincidences are like, if it was just one or the other individually, it wouldn't be a big deal, right? Up. But when you've got a couple of weeks before, he's randomly posting a picture on Route 66 saying "roadkill?" And then on the day, he's posting a picture of a red scarf, which just happens to be a fucking Illuminati symbol in theory. And that's what kills me, is that like hilarious. Even if all these conspiracy theories are totally wonky, why are they always playing to them then? Like, why is it always a thing? Like, pretty much anything you could look at and see the vigilant citizen side of it. Like,
yeah.
And it's like, if they know that it's just wonky shit, why do they keep doing it? You know what I mean? So, like, it's so fucked.
Yeah, the one thing I would probably say that might, for me, eliminate the just like the picture before he killed himself and then him killing himself at Route 66 would be the fact that the picture from Tom Hanks was a week beforehand, and if this guy had been doing this thing about Tom Hanks for a long time, right, he obviously saw Tom Hanks post. He could have seen that, and is also one of those things where it's not like a hard and fast rule or anything like that. It's kind of something that can happen. Is a lot of people who go really deep on these conspiracy things, especially if like it's people who like think that they are the victim of one specifically, ends up being linked to things like schizophrenia and stuff like that. And if he's like sees that and is deciding to kill himself, he's gonna go to Route 66 to kill himself. Like that would would be the move to vindicate your life after you've died and try to feel like you made some sort of weird thing.
And you would want people to be having these same conversations and making these same connections, right?
Exactly.
And if you watch these Isaac Cappy videos, he's very clearly a little bit of a paranoid schizophrenic. But there's a website that is called the Phoenix Enigma, and on there they have the Isaac Cappy mind map, and it's fucked up. You can actually see there's a lot of real shit that he's talking about that ends up like being validated.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of weird shit to it, but yeah, that's the Tom Hanks theory. So now, in the conspiracy world, once Tom Hanks was the first celebrity to get the coronavirus and be isolated in a hotel room somewhere, you know what I mean?
They could get to him really easily.
They're saying actually he's under arrest. This is the whole overarching theory is that Donald Trump is in office as like a covert military operation to take out these pedophile rings that infiltrate Washington and America as a whole, and all this human trafficking shit that's going on. Hey, we know there's fucking thousands of people going missing to human trafficking all the time. Mm-hmm. We know that there's been lots of rich people that have gone down being involved in this shit. We know that super, super rich people don't have anything, like they got nothing else going on. They got nothing else that gives them thrills. A lot of them have been found to be involved in a lot of this shit.
Yeah.
So the overarching theory is that Donald Trump's whole act or whatever, even though it's not an act, talk about somebody living the gimmick.
Yeah. That he's a pedophile.
It's just he's just sort of a wrecking ball that they've just thrown in there to fuck with the establishment and give them something to deal with. Like, we got to deal with this Donald Trump motherfucker, while these military folk and police that they're apparently tied to, and like
are
FBI,
just going
like
around
the good people
scooping up pedos,
are breaking up these things, and a lot of people apparently have gone to jail already, and it's just not something that ever gets talked about.
Interesting.
So
Idris Elba too.
See, that's where I'm starting to lose the coronavirus is a cover up for these arrests and stuff like that, because
Floyd Mayweather's uncle.
Yeah, there's too many now that clearly have nothing to do with this. But that was the thing in the conspiracy thing when Tom Hanks was the first person, and Justin Trudeau,
his wife,
thing that, you know, because he's a liberal, he's part of the problem, and he does all these crimes, and, you know, he's evil, and he's a lizard person as well.
Yep.
So when it was him and
good
then
old David
Tom Hanks,
Icke stuff, or Ick.
when it was him and then Tom Hanks, they were like, holy fuck. And then Italy, which is where the Vatican is, right? And they're obviously tied into all this human trafficking, child sex ring pedophilia shit.
Yeah.
So when it was Italy's shut down, and then Tom Hanks is shut down, and then motherfucking Justin Trudeau is shut down, and Donald Trump keeps going, hey, we're all good, don't worry about it, everything's fine. The conspiracy people are going, fucking, it's happening. And everything in this whole theory was pointing to these arrests happening in early 2020. It was all supposed to go down when Epstein got arrested, and then he got killed. Yeah. So then his information couldn't help with any cases or whatever. There are still people that say that he's alive and he traded information for the opportunity to just fake his own death and avoid his reputation being destroyed. Yeah. And that they're using that information to now make these arrests. But the whole conspiracy theory was saying that all this shit's going to go down in early 2020. Now we're in early 2020. There's a coronavirus. Justin Trudeau is on lockdown. Tom Hanks is on lockdown. Disney is another thing that's tied to the whole thing, because their parks are shut down. So there's a bunch that, like, again, even though all this shit sounds so crazy and wonky, there's like so much that validates it in the real world. Now, of course, we've got Idris Elba, we've got all these other people getting sick that have nothing to do with the theory and kind of fuck with the theory a little bit.
Yeah, and the fact that the majority of people that it affects are like women 65 plus. And people with compromised,
totally innocent people that have nothing to do with anything.
Yeah.
But the idea is that the disease itself may be real, but the whole panic around it is a distraction from what's really going on, you know. Yeah. But that's always the theory.
I was gonna say that's always that's the key phrase right there, is that all of this is a distraction for what's really going on, and that's always that's common between every conspiracy. There's always the what we see is always the distraction. It's never ever what it seems. It seems as far as it seems.
Yeah,
I guess.
And that is what I think is important when getting. And I think a lot of the stuff does resonate with people, but then they don't want to. They don't want to be that person, right?
Yeah.
And I think like you 100%. Have to. And I don't want to be that person. And I've already talked about this shit so much on this fucking podcast. But it's like again, I just want people to understand the importance of just like being open to the idea of questioning everything.
Yeah.
But you also need to fucking take things. Yeah. Some things are just as they are.
And I think
a lot of things, most things probably. But there's definitely a lot of shit going on behind the scenes. And what is a conspiracy? It's two people or more conspirating.
Well, that's where
together.
people fuck
like,
up.
As if that doesn't happen.
That's where people fuck up, is they think that because the word conspiracy is involved, that it's immediately false. because a conspiracy is not by default not something that happens. Like that is something that actively happens every day on a regular basis.
Oh yeah.
It's just that it's not usually so sexy. You know what I mean? Like
Oh,
the story's not
totally.
usually so sexy and sellable as it comes across.
And that's what's fucked about the Epstein thing is if there was ever a sexy and sellable story, it was a fucking billionaire with a private island that he's got all sorts of kinky shit going on this private sexy island.
Yeah.
And that shit, not that the age difference thing is sexy.
No.
But just as far as the news is concerned,
Yeah.
you know
No,
what I mean?
it's
Like it's
a
a sexy.
It is
fucking
a
story.
sexy story. Yeah.
Never,
for sure.
never fucking made it to the news. You know what I'm saying? Oh, it
Well,
being
60
a meme, and it being a
60 Minutes-
conspiracy theory
60
made
Minutes
it.
did a whole entire
They
episode
actually,
on
they're the
it.
only ones, yeah, and on how the suicide was bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. And they called Homeboy from the OJ.
So
case.
if that wasn't something, Jesus, if that wasn't something that validated that there's some truth to all this fucking shit.
I mean, with the Epstein stuff, there's no doubt. I don't really know anybody who thinks that was straight up, because
I don't think there is
with
anybody
that
that
one,
thinks that.
like with that one, there is concrete, confirmable bullshit going on, because like, how did the camera stop working right before and start working right after? How did the guard, or how did his cellmate who was supposed to be in there get taken out for that night to a different cell, which is not a common practice at the place at all? How did any of this shit happen? There's so much nonsense in there that allows him to kill himself.
And the thing is, this person was connected to a bunch of fucking left-wing politicians and Hollywood people, and you know what I mean? So it's like it fuels the fire of these crazy right-wing conspiracy theories.
And I think the part that gets ignored is there was also a lot of non-left-wing motherfuckers on those lists too.
Oh, there certainly were. Both sides were definitely involved.
Prince Andrew is not a massive left.
No, nobody involved with the royal family is any sort of left-leaning liberal.
No, not at all. So I mean, that's the part that really upsets me about conspiracy theory, because I think it's fun. Like, I think conspiracy theories are fun.
They're a lot of fun, but it has turned into a right-left thing, like everything else.
It just is super, super partisan. Like, it can never be, hey, everyone's shit. Like, all the people.
And that's what I enjoy.
Vote Bernie 2020.
My whole introduction to conspiracy theory was all the Republicans are evil and all the right-wing people are evil because of 9/11. And that was all fucking legitimate. You know, I mean, that, in my opinion, that was fucking, they totally were evil and all of that.
I think the right-wing motherfuckers were evil and stuff.
The weapons of mass destruction lies and all those neocons and their fucking Dick Cheneys and shit.
I don't buy into the 9/11 conspiracies of it all. But I do buy into, like, I mean, I do understand there was no weapons of mass destruction found.
Yeah.
But I also believe that it's better that they got Saddam out of power than letting him remain in power. If that makes sense. Because I think he should have been taken out a long time before.
Yeah, but everything that was done subsequently
Post
to that,
it was not handled well.
Yeah.
To say the least.
And now the conspiracy world is flipped to Obama's evil and
Well,
Clinton's evil and Hillary Clinton's evil.
And that's how it usually works, is if you have a right-wing leader, then the right wing is the evil one. If you have a left-wing leader, then the left is the evil one.
Right.
Now
we
lot
have
of
a
people
right-wing leader
have
and the left
shifted
is
it.
still the evil, yeah.
And the reason I think that is because is the same reason that Trump got elected in the first place, which is I think people were tired of overly PC culture bullshit.
Which
And
even
Donald Trump actively is not that.
Very actively.
Yeah. Like, not
Spits
just
in the
not
face of
PC,
that.
but like people like me who are not PC and hate the PC culture type thing are also like, just chill the fuck out sometimes.
Oh, yeah,
you
no,
fuck."
exactly.
Like, what are you talking about?
He's just nonstop.
Like, the fact that it took, till 3 days ago for him to accept that COVID-19 might be a problem.
Oh, I know. And he totally flipped on it. Like,
In a day.
it's like, we're good.
So, everything's fucked. But, he's, it's one of those things where I think that's the same reason why the conspiracy people who the ones who are making bullshit up and going to be trying to profit off of all of it, why they decided to do a little shift this time, because there's been a shift in what the power means right now, and what the power means right now is pretending to like that this guy, in a lot of cases, pretending like this guy's doing wicked cool shit and like shutting down liberal tards, like libtards, and like that terminologies and all that shit. It's like, oh my god, just like
it's too much.
get the fuck out of here. Like the only thing that this is good for is the fact that it got people's attention, and it can lead to like maybe some actual change in some shit.
Oh yeah, for
But
sure.
like,
And it definitely did
overall, he's a crazy man.
make a joke of the whole thing, which was a joke to begin with.
Exactly. And sometimes you have to do that to expose it. You have to tear something down to build it back up. Sometimes.
It's just why him?
Why? Like he's so fucked.
It should have been a fucking crazy liberal hippie that did what Donald Trump is doing.
It should be
in
Bernie.
a much more exactly, a crazy liberal hippie like Bernie.
I love Bernie.
Should be Bernie, and Bernie's getting the shaft again, and that's what fuels these
Elizabeth Warren.
That's what fuels these fucking crazy right-wing conspiracy theories. That everything that they do is like, oh, see, there you go. It's like every single move they make just like proves how fucked they are, and I say like they as in the Democrats.
Yeah.
And it just fuels that whole fire even more, man.
Elizabeth Warren,
Like Joe Biden.
Yeah, Elizabeth Warren really ruined it for
Bernie Sanders.
Bernie this year with that bullshit.
Yeah, but that shouldn't have even done anything. That's such bullshit, man.
I know. Well, it's
Just
because
so
it's
insane.
taken out of context, and she's a lying sack of shit. Anyways, she's
But
been
how many
lying
things
about being
that-
a Native American for fucking 3 decades.
How many things, things
And she
Joe
used to be a
Biden
Republican.
has said could you take out of context?
Yeah.
Joe Biden says all sorts of fucking weird, stupid shit, man.
Liz Warren was a Republican until like a minute and a half ago.
Yeah, no. But just like I remember, it was in a matter of days that Joe Biden went from being completely dead in the water to being the front runner.
Yeah, I think it has to do with primaries in the states in which they've been in.
The whole thing's fucking
I just
fucked.
Is it finalized now, or is there still votes to go for the?
I don't think it's
Democrat?
final. I think
Okay.
it's still technically up in the air, and
Okay.
Bernie hasn't conceded yet. But
I have hope.
did he?
When?
Holy shit! There
We
you
are
go.
on point.
We are right on point here.
Well,
Bernie
that's
Sanders
bullshit.
has dropped out. It's officially bullshit. Tom Hanks is officially a pedophile Illuminati puppet. Listen, guys, I don't pretend to know any of this shit. You know, I have a very there's things I'm an expert on, and there's things that I just kind of dip my toes in. And even though I enjoy talking about this shit, I really just dip my toes in this stuff. So, but I do really love Bernie Sanders.
Yeah,
and
I
it really
think
sucks.
he's
to
been
see
incredibly
that,
consistent.
Yeah, the most consistent person. But now he's dropped out, so
It doesn't look like. Let's see. He says he's assessing it. 38 minutes ago.
we'll see.
We'll see. But also 15 hours ago, Biden sweeps 3 states and takes commanding lead as virus reshapes election.
Somehow. I don't know who is voting for Joe Biden. I don't understand. Who likes it? I don't know. Nobody even likes him. I liked him as a vice president, but I don't want him as a fucking president.
Yeah, I liked him in a completely token position where he had no
Yeah,
power.
just smile.
It wasn't
So-
like the Bush presidency where the vice president was the president.
yeah.
You know, it's
The good old days.
Yeah, the good old days, which was the
Fuck.
good old days again for a while, and now I think it's kind of what's happening again because I think Mike Pence is a little bit more in charge.
Yeah, I could see him.
Seems.
I could also see him shooting somebody in the face.
100%, I could see that. I've seen that in my dreams 100 times. I think Mike Pence is a
Oh,
savage
goodness.
killer.
And on that note, we're at about an hour and a half almost, hour and 20 minutes of crazy stoner rambling
Hey.
about Marvel movies and Tom Hanks,
Pro wrestling and
pro wrestling,
empty UFC events.
We don't even need to talk about music, man, but look out for, we're going to have some music coming at some point.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'll definitely get working.
Yeah, it is what it is, man. Check out everything. Give them your social media information.
Ooh, you know what? Look me up at Thili on Twitter.
Spell that.
I forgot that's not quite standard yet.
Nobody's gonna know how to spell
At
Thili, even though it's
TH
up there in the title of the video. If you're
Yeah.
watching this,
Thili. Same thing on Instagram. There is Thili Canada and Thili 905. I don't know why I have two. I can't remember which one I promote more.
double the love.
So yeah, put up both. One of them will be sold to a cam girl at some point.
Hopefully for a reasonable profit.
Yeah. Just a free subscription.
Yeah, I'm Ezza905 on everything. Ezza Trips Balls for the podcast specifically.
Yes.
smarturl.it/pilotboy for my latest work. And yeah, thanks for checking out the show. Hopefully you enjoyed this craziness, and we're gonna have some more coming back to you. It is. We gotta. That's what it's all about, man. There's no rules here. Ain't no rules here, baby. Thank you for coming out. Much appreciated, my brother. As always, love you too, man. We're gonna do another one real soon.
Choom Gang.
Always and forever. Rest in peace, Chuck 90s. I already know.
Yeah, boy.
Peace.
To take a plane to another plane, to another plane, to another plane, bumping back and not nice while I'm trapping in the rain.